Hello and welcome to another Social Media Power Talk Hangout on Air. Today we're actually looking at franchises in the social media marketing age. Now, franchises used to be big business. Through most of the 80s and 90s, that was last century, it felt like you could not attend a business meeting or go to a convention without someone somewhere trying to get you involved in a franchise business. Then as we got into the 21st century, things seemed to go quiet. Franchises, if they were still around, seemed to work in a quieter fashion. The push was less insistent, and in keeping with what happens when someone goes quiet, they commanded less and less of our attention. But does that perception reflect the real picture? Have franchises really declined in popularity? More to the point, has their impact on the business world waned? We all tend to be focused on social media networking these days, and marketing in the social web seems to be about us using all sorts of different tools. And franchises do not immediately spring to mind. Now, all these are superficial impressions created by the same mechanism that is always responsible for creating impressions in the first place: the buzz that surrounds any trend or movement that is designed to command attention. The purpose of the Hangout today is to go beneath the surface, tackle more than what is superficial, and actually understand just how all this works. With us today, trying to help us demystify the subject, is Nick Strong, CEO of ChooseYourFranchise.com. Hello, Nick.
Hello, David. It's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me to join you today.
You're most welcome, and thank you for your time. And really, we need to start with a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got into franchises, how long you've been involved in, and what got you into them in the first place.
Okay, well, I came into franchising about 18 years ago now. It shocks me to think that I've been in this market and in this world for so long. But the thing that drew me into it, really, I came into it by the back door, and this often happens. In actual fact, my wife and I were working overseas. We were teaching English as a foreign language back in the late 80s. And when we came back to the UK, we noticed that there was no modern language teaching for young children before they were at secondary school age. So we decided that we would start a business to give children before the age of 11 the chance to really get into language and enjoy language in a fun way in schools and after schools. And we were considering franchising that business, but we actually were bought by a competitor, and I came into franchising through that method, I learned all about franchising and how that could be used to help people get into business for themselves. So that was how I came into it those years ago.
That's awesome. And as it happens today, Nick, your day started out by you giving away money.
Yes.
Well, this is brilliant, because essentially we have a screenshot of that, first of all, and Alex is just bringing it up now. There it is. And it's brilliant because it really fits into part of the social media awareness and embedding in the social community and social goodness. And we actually talked about that in our last Hangout on air last month. So could you tell us a little bit more about what you did there?
Yeah, we run a number of businesses for the franchise community, and one of them is called the Franchise Supplier Showcase. And at this event that we hold, we sell the tickets to our delegates, but we take the money from the seats that we sell, and we offer that money to a social enterprise, which is a franchise called Food Banks. It's run by an organization called the Trussell Trust in the UK. And what they do is they focus on providing balanced nutrition diets, gift boxes to families that fall into temporary financial hardships. So they're run as a charity, and they require donations of food and financial donations. So we are passionate about franchising in their work, so we wanted to contribute to that. So that's where that money went from last year's showcase event.
Whoa, right. I mean, it's fascinating you mentioned a charity being a franchise, really, because that seems to be paradoxical. So let's begin really by you helping us define what exactly is a franchise today.
Yes, I think that the essence of a franchise is that a business or a charity will take a proven system of operations. And so it's normally an entrepreneur would have an idea and they would take that idea to market. And over a period of time, they would prove what doesn't work and they would prove what does work. And what they find works, they will document and they will create operation systems by which they run their business. Now, a lot of businesses find that, especially if they're geographically based, their scale of growth stops because of geographic and staff and travel limitations on their operations. So they have to then consider how they're going to grow. Now, one route to growth is that they can find people that wish to grow their own businesses by investing in the proven systems and the protected trademarks of a franchise business in order to replicate for their own business development success.
Okay.
So in essence, that's it.
I was going to say this is brilliant, and I'm going to sort of interpose a question here before we go any further, because essentially the way you describe it, two thoughts spring to mind. First of all, a franchise is potentially a shortcut to a ready-made model, which has all the answers worked out from an entrepreneurial point of view. But isn't it also perhaps, if we flip that aside, flip it on its head, an easy way for an entrepreneur to make money from something he has reached a ceiling on?
I think that a franchise is not for everyone. That's important to point out. If you are an entrepreneur yourself, you absolutely should not invest in a franchise, because franchising isn't about creativity and ideas on behalf of the franchisee. The franchisor is the owner of the brand and the systems. The franchisee is the operator in local markets. The franchisee invests because they can then replicate that which is proven and get up and running and get into profitable trading normally far more quicker than if they're trying to develop their own idea. With a franchisor, obviously, growing through the investment of others and sharing their intellectual property and allowing people to trade through their protected trademarks, and also providing them with ongoing training and support, gives a win-win recipe that helps both sides progress into successful trading.
How does that work in practice? I mean, do you sign a contract? Do you agree to specific things? Are there checks and controls and balances? I mean, it's fascinating to hear you describe that, because they're usually by definition franchises are geographically diverse and separated. What's to stop you saying, yeah, I'm going to buy the franchise, I'm going to set it up, and then you go on do your own thing? How does anybody check on you?
I think that's a very good question, and there's an element of maturity and responsibility on both sides. Certainly, a franchisor is responsible for the brand and what the brand means, and the franchisee is responsible for demonstrating that brand in trading practice in the local markets. Obviously, a brand will mean something, and you have an expectation before you actually walk into the store of what you might expect to receive when you actually walk in, by way of service, look, feel, product that you might buy, service that you may receive. So it's a mutual responsibility between the two. There are breakdowns in the delivery of services sometimes, and obviously that's where problems occur. The franchisor will have a contract by which the franchisee must abide, and the franchisor ultimately will have the last say as to who will and will not trade in their brand and in their system.
Have you? I mean, I know you deal with a lot of, you see a lot of things in the franchise world.